Hey all you crazy gardeners, welcome back to Sweet Mandolin's Urban Farm. This is year 6. So 5 years ago, pretty much started planting heavily. 6 years ago, we actually started planting a few things, but the major part of this tiny homestead was started in 2019 in February. So we are now 5 years down the road, and things are looking really nice. I'm going to give you a short tour, and you can see what we got hoarding here. I'm a plant hoarder, a plant collector. Last count, I had probably about 140 things growing here in this desert farm. So let's go take a look at what we got. Well, this by far is my fastest growing specimen. This is Akeley. He's our puppy, 50 pounds, born in November, and he's quite a handful. In my previous video, I told you I was going to be changing over to my deep drip system. So you see, I got a long ways to go, but I got my tubes in the ground, and these are my apricots, the newly planted ones back in February. And I think I even saw a couple. Yeah, there's a couple apricots in there for these young pups. So next year we should be a lot bigger. Hopefully we'll have a lot of growth this year. 2 different varieties here. Of course, this is my honey fig. It's giving me my brevet crop right there. Starfruit's getting its new growth after being froze back from the 26-degree temperatures we had in January. It wasn't protected enough, but it's coming back nicely for a tropical. So are my peppers. They got froze back. These are the poblano peppers and jalapeno peppers. I got the plants for free. They were throwing them out last year. Lettuces are starting to go to seed. Hong Kong orchid, that's getting established, because this is going to be my replacement tree for this old non-fruiting pear. I wanted another bigger pretty tree that's going to be a microclimate for my dragon fruit. Hasn't fruited yet, but we'll just keep amending the soil, keep adding stuff. Maybe we'll have enough nutrients in the soil to get that thing to fruit in ground without having to be in a pot. And come around here, you can see I got the fence up for the dog. I'm redoing I got to replace a valve in there. That's what I'm going to do today. Just took out all the broccoli that was growing all winter here. Plant another crop there. That's a new planting. That's that methyl plum. Got lots of new growth this year. Some more peppers at the base there, and from seed I started castor bean to give it some sun protection this summer for that Euro persimmon over there. All this in my giant wicking bed is alfalfa. I haven't even watered this, so you can see it's drying out a little bit. It's getting a little bit of water from that wicking. Of course, all the cannas grown up to protect the trunks of my trees, like this tangerine here. Banana pepper came back after freezing back. Hopefully we get some vigorous growth this year in this navel orange and pink lemon here. But this, I cut that back 3 times last year, that pruned, that Mexican lime, because it just has been so vigorous growing, but finally set fruit. So we got all these limes starting to develop here. Baby limes. So that's the first time. Barbados cherry over there. That's in full sun. Hardly gets that much water. If I give it more water, it'll probably start fruiting a lot more. Of course, the papaya back there on the other side of the pond. Bamboo's looking great. This sea breeze, and I'm getting some new shoots from that blue tropical. Old Hami is getting nice and tall, starting to provide some shade, so I won't get so much of an algae bloom. A couple of catfish ready to eat. Lilies are starting to grow back. And I got that peach, that Florida Prince over there, right by the rose bushes. That's going to be ready in May, my first one. You can see it's loaded with peaches after the second year in the ground, and I cut it back to 7 feet. That thing is doing very nicely right there by the pond. Let's go over to the courtyard. We got some more aesthetics that I've been working on over there. On the way over to the courtyard, I gotta show you my lychee. It flowered a little bit last year, but this year I think it's really going to be starting to set fruit for this lychee, which would be the first time. This has got a very nice microclimate. It'll get morning sun in the spring through fall, but it's pretty much shaded all winter, and after 1 o'clock it'll get shade. It's on the north side of my house in this little cubby right here, but after it fruits, hopefully that I'm going to work on getting the nutrients to make those the new growth of the leaves a lot richer, deeper green. It just needs to keep adding stuff to the soil, compost, and it'll do fine. But it'd be nice to have some lychees this year. Well, the grass is starting to grow, so I'm going to have to start mowing. Here's that Florida Prince. I haven't thinned any peaches out. I actually, a little bit I thinned it, but it's pretty much loaded with peaches. Of course, all the roses are blooming. Grapevines, vigorous this time of year. I haven't seen the skeletonizer caterpillar moths yet. Hopefully I won't. I do have some BT this year, so I'm gonna keep an eye on it, make sure that they don't show up and start laying their eggs, because I'm gonna have to start spraying these. These are getting lots of grapes. And then my cuttings from my manuka actually popped out of the ground, so I'll have a replacement there, which is the same one right here, the manuka, red flame. And the courtyard over here, I put up a fence with an arbor. Make it look a little bit nicer, but keeps the dog out away from the chickens in my raised bed area. This pear is taking a long time to wake up. I don't know why this one is so slow, because this is all green wood, you know, it's not dying. It's just barely waking up for some reason. Whereas my other one, my Waddell pear, it's actually got fruit on it this year. And that thing is getting pretty tall. Of course, the Pakistani mulberry, insane. It's been dropping fruit like crazy, those finger-long mulberries. I've been eating a few, but chickens have been ones having a heyday with them. And this all-in-one almond's got almonds this year after the second year being in the ground. An heirloom tomato there with my curry. I had to replace the rose bush, so I just put a salvia there. Needed some more color that I knew would be doing well in that area. Lilies are starting to bloom, my Easter lilies, so it's a little bit late for them, but I got the bulbs this winter, so they weren't put in the ground in the fall. Cattleya guava, the strawberry guava. I thought these were going to be new leaves, but it looks like they're starting to open up into flowers instead of leaves. So we might see some flowers and fruit off this Cattleya guava for the first time. Fruit punch mangoes flowering like mad. Always been getting mangoes off that for the past 2 years. That thing is 8 feet tall now. Jaboticaba looking beautiful. Be nice to get that thing to set fruit. Over there got some more tomato. I just put some, had all these blocks just laying up against the fence, so I decided I was gonna make a little pathway right here where the gate is, so make it a little bit nicer. And all these cherry tomatoes got lots of babies on there. Haven't had anything fruiting yet. Been getting too much shade, I think, from these pear trees, but yeah, they are setting fruit. We're getting pears for the first time. Not a whole lot, but I see a few. And this is the muscadine grape, the Florida grape. But look at this. It's called a white mulberry, but they set purple fruit. But those vines are just loaded. I've been starting to harvest yesterday. And what I don't eat or freeze for jam, these guys do. Look at this. That's what the mulberries are great for. Providing nice cool shade in the summer for your flock, and a food source in the springtime here, April and May. These things are just loaded. All the branches loaded with these mulberries. And this Mexican elderberry never froze back this winter, since it's right next to the house. And that thing is, geez, how tall is that now? It's got to be at least 15 feet. Flowering those up the top there. I mean, Bob Gordon elderberry, just barely starting to grow back. My raised beds are full of Swiss chard, kale. Got a couple of tomatoes that started from seed from the soil I had in the chicken run. These are all carrots and dill, radishes, sugar snap peas. We got some chamomile coming up in here by the clover and dill. And these are all the cilantro, coriander flowering. Borage back there. Namois getting new growth. Look at that monstera. Now this is on the west side of my house, north side of my fence, north side of the bamboo. So the monstera and the avocado from seed are doing great here. So that's where they're going to be hopefully setting fruit. Even the monstera, I would love to get that the fruit in Phoenix, Arizona. That would be a bonus. Of course, in the chicken run, you know, we got some things going on besides the mulberry. We got that feijoa, the pineapple guava, and this star jasmine start to flower, get real fragrant. I'm gonna put another cattle panel here so I can have that trellis over there. This pecan tree is looking really nice, along with the jujube back there. It should be starting to flower because I got a smaller one in the front that's flowering. Ice cream bean back there froze back. Cut all the stuff that froze back off, and it's all new growth. Of course, this is the other variety apple I have here. Need to get that growing up into the sun. Pomegranate setting fruit. Of course, that's my moringa. Let's go out in the front. Okay, this is that Lang jujube. This one is flowering. It gets full sun here. Transplanted my chili tapine up here, and it was froze back, so plus I transplanted, so it got some shock, but it's coming back. All the peppermints coming up, and I planted that rose right there, right by the Texas air-bearing fig. Pluot. Haven't seen. Oh, there's a hummingbird. Looking for nectar. They've been sucking the nectar off those flowering aloe vera, and looks like he's working on the lavender's flowers right now. You see him? Yeah. But these Primark blackberries, amazing fruit set this year. Already starting to get ripe. These things are nice size. Thornless blackberry Primark. I planted one there and let it vine, so I got another one coming up over there. There was a vine that went underneath this this log right here, and so that one took root. This one took root right here, so they got another one started. Of course, these are all just my flowers in here, but back there I got my starting to have my Nespero loquat. My fourth one, I've already killed 3. So we got a new spot for it, and I think it's going to do very well over there in front of that window with the afternoon shade from this Canary Island date palm. Yeah, hummingbird. I love being out here with all the nature. Well, let's go over on this grocery road garden, starting with the leftovers banana just starting to come back with the moringa. There's another Mexican elderberry, another 15 feet tall, flowering. 2 apple trees looking very healthy now after the slow process of amending your soil with compost and burying foods and with all those worm castings and tunneling underneath there with all the wood chips. Clusters of apples. It's nice and open right now so that that fruit can get some sunshine and airflow, and then it'll fill in when the blazing heat shows up. It'll be nice and protected from all the leaves. Mayo lemon's getting lots of new fruit. This is the best it's ever looked. It's taken about 3 years to really get established and get all the garbage that was out of this soil naturally. The amber peach loaded with peaches. I need to start thinning these little ones out. I had to prop up my Florida Prince with some branches because they were so heavy with fruit that they were bending the branches to the ground. And the trunk is being protected on the south side by this artichoke plant with those giant leaves covering the trunks. Valencia orange looks really good, setting fruit again. I've been cutting those oranges a couple of days and juicing them. Calamansi right here, doing very nice after I planted it a year ago. Bought it as a seedling. And that Rangoon creeper got rid of all of its winter freeze and coming back with that spring growth. Bottle bush is actually taken off right there, got flowers this year. The tall plum is flowering. I want it to set fruit. It's been in the ground for a couple of years. The tall plum, people just plant here as ornamentals, but they have a delicious fruit if you get it to have a decent soil, water properly. The brittle bush I dug out of the desert was a little seedling a couple years ago. I keep cutting that back and it keeps flowering, adding the native color. That's the pecan. And finally, with these 90-degree temperatures we've been getting, our Royal Poncianas are finally starting to get new growth because they look like death after the January freeze. But getting lots of new growth because this tree is absolutely gorgeous by June. And in the fall, you have the flowers, the red flowers. And this is the monster. This is, so I gotta cut back a lot of those branches on the west side. I need some sunlight for these Barbados cherries. They're looking very gorgeous, and the pomegranates, but it's hard for them to fruit without a lot of sunlight, because these will take our full sun, but they get too much shade because they're under full shade right now when they should be under sun right now all afternoon, but they're not. White guava, I haven't seen any fruit yet. Oh, there's some flowers, so it'll start setting fruit. But Ruby's been giving me fruit every day. These pink guavas. There's some more Primark blackberries right in between them. And all the birds planted the variety of lantana here, so I let it grow just so I can have some ground cover. Suriname cherry looks beautiful this year. I haven't seen any flowers yet. Turk's cap hibiscus did great. They just flowered a ton. Ice cream mango getting some new growth and flowering like mad. It's very short, but it's been in the ground a while, so it's established. I'm not worried about it fruiting, but it'd be nice if I can get some growth back after it was damaged from the falling limbs. But that's what we got going on here. In year number 6 we're starting. But it's so nice and refreshing to be outside even when it's hot. It could be 120 and I still like to be out here under the shade working because of the microclimate. Well, that's what we got going on right now. Have a good day, guys.